Good Sunday morning, everyone. Actually, Sunday afternoon now. We're on week 12 of the fantasy and NFL season. We had the Thursday Thanksgiving Day games on this past Thursday. Some pretty good games, except for the late game there with Buffalo and the Saints. But let's get into this week's game. I'm here with Sean. Sean, good morning.
Good morning,
good
John.
Afternoon. How are you?
It's going.
And I'm joined by Jeremy Cravat. Jeremy, it's actually good morning for you out there on the West Coast. How are you this morning?
Great morning or afternoon to you guys. Good to see you.
Hopefully your Thanksgiving was good.
I'm still eating from it. So
the wife actually made soup today from the leftover turkey, so I'll be getting a bowl of that right after the stream here today. So
nice.
Chicago beat Detroit. The Raiders beat the Cowboys, and Buffalo blew out the Saints. Any surprise takeaways from any of those games? Sean, we'll start with you.
Yeah, the fact that Detroit in single-digit games this year are, I think, 0-6-1 now. So they're the worst winless team and going to go down to the worst winless team in history, I think, if they don't win this year, just because they're competitive. It just sucks. Their offense never had a chance in the fourth quarter. They gave them the ball with, I think, 9:50 to go, and they never got a chance to get back on the field because the coach and the defense. I think if they didn't burn one of those timeouts on the back-to-back timeouts and get a 5-yard penalty, I think they would have gotten off the field with like a minute to go.
Yeah, Jeremy, what were your thoughts on the Thanksgiving games?
I was a little surprised that Dallas lost. I mean, it's not shocking, so it's not like a stunning upset. I mean, the Raiders are really good, but I think it said a lot. Just about who they are. Like, like it always seems like everybody pumps up Dallas, and unless they turn it around and get more consistent, it looks like it's going to be one of those years where everybody talks about them like they're the Super Bowl contender, right? There's always this hype around the team, and then they find a way to let you let their fans down, and it just seems like they find ways to lose games. It's kind of, I was a little surprised by it because I was starting to buy into the hype that they were going to be for real this year.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't think Dallas has the hype for the fact that their team's all banged up. I think if they were healthy, I don't know if the Raiders team would have been able to stick with them. Without CeeDee Lamb, without a fully 100% Zeke, and without Amari Cooper, it's hard to say what their team really can and can't be. I mean, their defense is healthy. Their defense has been there all year. It's just they're giving up a lot of points every game. But their offense, they're playing on their, third, fourth, and fifth stringers and their backup running back. And they said after Thursday's game, they're actually going to probably most likely sit Zeke down for a week or two, and it'll be Tony Pollard's team to run, which would be his first career start if it does happen to be that way.
It's interesting to me, and it's not at you, Sean, is I'm just talking from the perspective of a Jets fan because we deal with this all the time. Every time a good team, like respected, like teams like Dallas or whatever, lose and they have injuries, it's like they have injuries, they still whatever. Nobody gives that respect to the Jets. We are like, we lost our best pass rusher, we lost our best offensive lineman, we're out receivers every week, our running back is now hurt for 3 weeks, our quarterback was out, backup quarterback, but we still get, and this is even Jet fans do this, same old Jets, they stink. There's never a consideration of, man, we just have the worst luck. We can never stay healthy. And everyone goes, yeah, you stink anyway. But no, I hear you. There were a lot of Cowboys missing, but I think it's fair to say that there's that's going to be a big part. I mean, that is a big part of any team's success, right? Is that the team stays healthy. It's like there's a luck element, I think, to every team because it feels like Tampa Bay, and tell me if I'm wrong, it feels like Tampa Bay doesn't seem to get those major injuries to the core players. And then the Super Bowl and like so injuries are, I guess, a big deal. I just wish my team can avoid them for once.
But if you look at the Bucs, though, their defense is so banged up. It's their offense that's so potent and can score 40 points at ease. And Tom Brady, I mean, but
yeah,
I think if you look at teams that had the injuries early in the year, like Indianapolis, and look how bad they played. They were, I think, 0-3 to start the year, and then I think they started 1-5, and then now they've been on that winning streak. And then look at teams like Tennessee. They were playing great, lost Derrick Henry, and now they can't get out of their own way right now. So I just think that if you had the injuries early in the year, I mean, even look at teams like Kansas City. They had those bumps in the road early in the year. Their defense wasn't playing great. They did the trade deadline, got a few pieces, key, and now they're playing great.
So I think it's fair to say.
Sorry, Jeremy. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, so I think it's fair to say that depth is really important in football.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's, as a Jet fan, we're having to come to the realization of that this year. This is actually the first. They've always talked about rebuilding. This is the first year where they actually torn it down and started rebuilding the proper way. And so some Jet fans aren't liking it, saying that the GM needs to go and the head coach is no good. But I
like the Jets team, if we're gonna be honest. Like, they have the youth and the running back core. I mean, Michael Carter and Ty Johnson, I think, is a good 1-2 duo. Zach Wilson, if he just gets his turnover ratio and he gets working with Elijah Moore, and I think then if you can pick up an offensive line that can protect him a little bit longer in the pocket and has a few more seconds. I mean, yeah, if you have 2-3 seconds in the pocket, it's great. But if you can have 5-6 seconds like Tom Brady gets, look at what you could possibly do. I mean, he's proven this year in the time he has like under 3 seconds to throw the ball, it's the touchdown, or even I would say a completion to turnover ratio is probably higher turnovers. But if you look at it from 4 to 6 seconds, it probably even gets better, and he has more completions and more time, I think, to look around. So I think looking at it from like the rookie quarterback aspect, I think that's why Mac Jones this year is having the better rookie year so far, because he has the time to throw with what Belichick built around him. And I think that's why you see other rookies not having the great of a year than what he had, because he's just got the time in the pocket to throw, and he's got the running game working right now, so he doesn't have to throw as much.
Now, I know when Zach Wilson got hurt, after that, the Jets made a change, and their offensive coordinator went up to the booth. And I believe since that time, they are ninth in the league in passing since that time, so top 10 team. So it'll be interesting to see, with Wilson being back today, how that offense if that offense can keep clicking. Now they were without Davis today, but Elijah Moore's been stepping up. So Jeremy, what do you think of Zach Wilson coming back today?
I think it's exciting for Jet fans. I don't think it's exciting for fantasy sports, unless you'd have to be a very deep league at this point to risk. Like, obviously we're not talking about starting Zach Wilson. I mean, I guess if you're desperate, and again, it depends on the deepness of the league, right? I think there's a possibility that he could have a very big game today, just for all the reasons you guys are saying. The offensive line that Zach Wilson played with is gone. The offensive line that's there with him, that's there now for the last few weeks, have obviously gelled and are playing a lot better, and giving a lot more time for the quarterbacks behind them. So if they do that for Zach, it's going to just be, it's still too much of a question mark to consider starting him for fantasy over anybody that's proven. But he could potentially have a big game, and it's going to be exciting. But mostly just for Jet fans, just to see if they block for him and give him that protection Sean is talking about, what Zach Wilson will look like.
Yeah, absolutely. We have Payo Time in the chat. Payo Time, thanks for sending in the chat. Thanks for watching. We have Happy Sunday Football. Hope you're all well today. Complex question coming up. He sent a question saying, I need 3 wide receivers of this group: Kupp, Godwin, Brandon Cooks, Zacchaeus, or Lazard.
I like the first three in that order: Kupp, Godwin, and Cooks. you can't go wrong. Lazard's not even probably playing today. He's doubtful. He hasn't been full participant in practice in 2 weeks. And I don't think they're going to risk it knowing they have a bye next week. The same thing they said with Aaron Jones. They said he's probable or questionable but doubtful for today's game. And they have their bye next week. Why would you want to play against the Rams and risk injury today when you have a bye week next week and you know you're probably going to be playoff bound regardless of if you win this game or lose this game? So, and with the Falcons wide receiver court, unless it's Gage, I don't really trust anyone, or Pitts. So I couldn't say trusting Zavicius or Sisyphus, whatever, how his name is. The guy with the letter Z in his name. So I would go with Kupp, Godwin, and Cooks just for the fact of Kupp's going to get probably 8 to 10 targets and probably 7 catches at least. Godwin, probably 8 to 10 as well with as many catches. And Cooks, I mean, he might get 3 to 4 targets, but those 3 to 4 could be 50, 60 yards.
Yeah. Jeremy, how about you? Any takes on these guys?
Yeah, I mean, I thought the first 3 instantly. I mean, Kupp and Coop and Godwin are just automatic. I mean, I always want to. I mean, you're talking about one is been the consistent top receiver for his team. The other is a target of Tom Brady. So never against, especially when a quarterback is on the pace to throw as many touchdowns and for as many yards as he is. You want one of his receivers, especially a talented one. And to be honest, Cooks is just the guy that I used to be a lot more excited about him, but I just think out of the 3, he's just definitely the highest ceiling. Like I could imagine if if any of them was to have a big game, an explosive play, it would be Cooks over the other 2. So yeah, I've the front 3 for me.
Yeah, and I looked at it. I do have Kupp as the number 1, of course, so make sure he's in your lineup. But then I have Godwin at 17.4 and Cook at 14.6, and the guy from the Falcons at only 8 projected points this week in a PPR league. So yeah, definitely stick with the top 3 there. I'd even check Lazard because I think Sean's right. I don't think he's playing.
Yeah, he last I saw this morning was doubtful when I was doing my lineups for today.
Let me check here. Lazard. Yeah, and if he does play, I only have him projected at 5.4 points. So definitely bottom on the list. We got Wizzy.
Yeah.
Wizzy, thanks for tuning in. Sorry, go ahead, Sean.
As of 8 a.m. this morning, East Coast time, he is listed as questionable for Sunday's game. He was only practice participant through the week, which leaves him questionable for the 4:30 game. That they might just sit him down, have Scantling, Cobb, and their main guy, Devontae Adams, being their 3 receiving core with their other practice squad people that they've had on their team from last week or the week prior.
Yeah, so Wizzy coming in with a question. Start 1. Westbrook, Ikline, Bateman, or Anderson? Start 1. Westbrook, who's he on? I don't know a lot about him.
I'm going to find out right now. I've heard of the name, but I don't remember his name. Oh, he's on tennis. He's a Tennessee wide receiver.
Oh, he's a Tennessee wide receiver?
Yeah, so he would be probably their number 1 today.
Going up against New England?
Yeah, going up against New England without A.J. Brown, Julio Jones, or Marcus Johnson. So their 4th stringer is going to be leading the team. I mean, they're going against New England. New England's always known to shut down their number 1. So if they're his biggest threat, I could see him being shut down. Bateman, he is going against Cleveland's defense tonight, which over the past few weeks has been giving up not great receiving games, but hasn't been shut down on top guys. I mean, they did play Detroit last weekend. They only won by 3 points. Anderson, he he has upside of a touchdown, but other than that, I don't know if you can trust him. Cam Newton's not going to be throwing to Robbie Anderson 10 times a game like it could have been, 2-3 years ago. Cam Newton's going to be checked down to Christian McCaffrey, run himself, DJ Moore, Dan Arnold's up there. So it's hard to say. I would probably go with, if I'm going to say anybody, Bateman, because I know Marquise Brown is also questionable for tonight's game.
And out of the three, I have Bateman ranked projected the highest at 10.1, with Westbrook at 9.7 and Robbie Anderson at 8.9. But those are all PPR stats, so I don't know if Woodsy's in a PPR league or not. But yeah, Bateman's probably the best option at this point. He's also got another question: Lamar Jackson or Jalen Hurts? Jeremy, your take on Lamar Jackson or Jalen Hurts today?
I'm always going to go with Lamar Jackson, and I know Jalen Hurts has had some good games, and I know Lamar has some bad games, but that's, you got to stick with your guy, to me, in my opinion. I'm just like, too many times if I looked at matchups and overthought things like that, I just go with Lamar. Like if that's my quarterback, if that's the guy I chose, that's the guy I go with. I roll with him.
I like Jalen Hurts. I like him for the fact that his within recent weeks he's gotten to the point where he's not forcing throws, and he's been just taking off with his legs, and he's been trusting his legs running the game. And I think last week he had 2 rushing touchdowns, and I think he threw for 2 others. So I like Hurts also for the fact that him and Devontae Smith have been getting connected more. They're getting the running game more going. I know Miles Sanders had 94 rushing yards last week against the Saints defensive line. So I like it for that aspect of Hurts is going against also a bad Giants defense who's beaten and banged up. And I think that he could get you more points because you also got to look at Jackson playing against Cleveland's defensive line with Clowney and Garrett, that he also just came back from playing last week or 2 weeks ago playing against Miami on Thursday night, and they exposed him with a half-decent defensive line. And then he was out last week with an illness. So I would just say go with someone that's been more reliable. I think Jalen Hurts is the number 1 fantasy quarterback on the year, if I'm not mistaken, as well.
Let's see here. Right now, yes, I have him. Let me bring those numbers back up on the screen. Oops. Hurts right now is the number 1 fantasy quarterback on the year. I don't have the Eagles record in front of me. Have they had their bye? So they haven't had their bye yet.
I think they have it week 13.
Okay, so some of the other quarterbacks will probably take. I just looked. Brady's still second, and he's had a couple bad weeks here.
Yeah, but he's also put up 50 points or 40-some points in 3 games this year.
Yeah. So
that helps his stats when he could throw for 5-6 touchdowns in games and 400 yards with no problem.
Payo Time says, thanks for the insight and wisdom. Payo Time, no, thank you. Got to go. Good luck to the Jets and Vikings today. Yep. Good luck to your Rams. I know he's a Ram streamer. I usually watch him. He's got so I'll watch him during the Rams-Packers game this afternoon while I have it on TV.
I'll be cheering the Rams on harder than ever.
Yep. To get away from fantasy for a second, he didn't know I was going to do this, but Jeremy, who's been a guest on this show multiple times, has branched out and has created his own YouTube channel. Jeremy, why don't you tell the guys what you're doing?
Well, there's no content yet, but I'll give us a preview of what it's going to be. So yeah, I'm starting a channel called, I'm kind of known in the Jets YouTube world as Chaos. And so I decided to play off that, and I wanted to do more than just the Jets. So I'm actually creating a channel called NFL Chaos with Jeremy. And it's going to just cover a lot of Jets, obviously, as a Jets fan, but it's going to branch out and cover like just general NFL news, NFL discussions, just like big news in the league, people's thoughts, just a place where any NFL fan can come, and we'll have featured guests, insiders for different teams. So like if I want to do something about if something's going on with Minnesota or the Jets are playing the Vikings, or like, for example, I would ask Sean, can you come on the show with me and like do a live stream or do a video just to give people an opportunity to see a fan of other teams' fan base, to see their perspective on things. So because for example, if the Jets were playing the Vikings, we don't know what Vikings fans say. We don't know if Viking fans hate Kirk Cousins or like Kirk Cousins, or if they want a new quarterback. So I just want to be able to give that perspective from fans to see what other fans think about their team, who they like. So that's the kind of content that it'll have, and content will start going real soon. And I'll start sharing exact link and pushing people to go there. Right now, you can't even find it in the search because there's no context.
Well, then that's fine. I do have it linked down in the description. Anytime I have a guest on the show, I put their information in there. And right now, even though you don't have any content, like you said, I do have it linked down in the description by your name. So somebody can check that out.
I appreciate the subs. If people want to sub on it, and give me the sub, then I appreciate it, because then once I do get the content up, it'll be nice to have some people right away that can see it.
Yeah, absolutely. Wizzy says, I'm in a 10-man league, but I'm also in a four-man just for fun. Let me ask some start and sits in the 4-man. I'll be right back to find some guys. All right.
Back to normal, the fantasy related.
Back to normal?
Sort of. But the NFL Network actually just released that Jimmy G will not be back with the 49ers next year.
Well,
so
that's kind of a weird thing to be announcing with 7 games to go in the season.
Well, probably get him to start playing for his job. Maybe they'll push him to want to play good again, like they did the Super Bowl year.
That'd be like me saying, you know what, Sean, it's been great. Thanks for helping me out to start the channel, but at the end of the year, I'm not going to have you back on the show.
Hey. Sorry.
Oh man, I don't know. Man, that's some surprising news. Wow.
Yeah, they said that he's not going to be back already, week 12. So he's got 6 weeks to audition for a job that he probably already knew he was auditioning for, because they have 2 quarterbacks below him that are probably better if they can play.
And I was surprised, actually, in the offseason, he was one of the guys I thought would have been traded. I actually half expected him to go back to New England. But with them getting Mac Jones, they don't need him now. So, Jeremy, what do you think of that news?
That's an interesting thing to announce. And hey, if Lamar Jackson rocks it and Hurts is awful, Sean, you might have to worry about that announcement. No.
Hey.
It's an interesting thing to do, because what if the Niners roll off the last 7 games of the year like Jimmy G did for them when he first went there? What if they roll out 7 wins and he plays awesome, and now you've already put that out there that he's leaving?
I don't understand.
It's weird. Maybe someone just broke the insight, thinking like, we're not going to release it yet, and then they were just like, oh well, we'll just go with it. Might as well get him on TV while we're at it.
So we have Wizzy coming back for fun. Start 2. DJ Moore, Brandon Cooks, or Scary Terry?
Scary Terry is automatic, and DJ Moore. Those two I would love to see on the same team, because I can only imagine the things they would do because of their speed and how small they are of receivers, that they can get like underneath some cornerbacks and get some good passing. Brandon Cooks, I mean, like I said earlier, he might get 3 to 4 catches and get 60 yards, but the Texans' offense is with Tyrod Taylor. He could also have a higher upside of getting more points in the game. I trust Terry McLaurin with Taylor Heineke more, and DJ Moore with Cam Newton, than I would with Brandon Cooks and Tyrod Taylor playing against the Jets defense.
Yeah, let's see here. Let's see what we actually have them projected as. Jeremy, while I looked those up, do you have any takes on the three wide receivers there?
Well, I agree. I mean, Scary Terry, no matter what. I would do GJ. The only thing I would say about Brandon Cooks is, and he's hit or miss. I mean, and the other two are just more obvious to me. Like, I would definitely start the other two. But don't be shocked. So we're not saying it's impossible. Don't be shocked if Cooks surprises. Don't be completely shocked, only because of what I know about the Jets. They have what their CB2 is hurt. So they have an injury. Eccles is out, and he wasn't very strong to begin with. So you're going to have a very weak CB2. The Jets defense has been awful overall for the past month, and it depends on how they use Cooks. It's basically if Houston decides to use him for like screen passes, sweeps, short stuff to the left side of the field, he could end up having a very big game because the Jets have been very susceptible to that. But not enough for me to start him if I have the other two guys.
And I have the I just looked at the projections. They're all within if it's a decimal scoring and it's a PPR league, they're all within 0.6 of a point of each other. But I still like Moore and Scary Terry today. So thanks for the questions, guys. Keep them coming in the chat. We got Max with a question: Stafford or Cam?
Hi. I love this question. Cam Newton all day. I just think that he is on a mission right now. And I think that he wants to prove to the other 31 teams after he got released from the Patriots that he deserved a job. Yeah, it could have been probably as a backup. He probably wouldn't have taken it, but I think he's proven that there's teams out there that could have used him as a starter. 49ers early in the year could have used him. Texans could have used him. The Panthers, after like week 5, week 6, they started seeing it. Even teams like the Giants. I just don't think that he's not going to be playing top tier, and he's not going to do anything to probably throw a ball up in the air that he's not going to be positive on and do a get a turnover. Where Stafford, he's playing against a Packers team that the defense has been on, but has also not been playing lockdown. I know before last week, 34 points. I think the previous 3 games, I don't think they gave up 34 points combined. So I think that they're going to keep an eye on locking down Cooper Kupp today. And I think they're going to try to keep Stafford in the pocket and try to get him hit a few times on the ground, and then kind of like the 49ers have done and the Titans have done is just get Stafford to have to rush throwing the ball and get a turnover or two and change the momentum of the game.
Yeah, we have Max with another question. Full PPR, Bateman, Elijah Moore, or Brandon Cooks, pick 2. Before I let you guys chime in, I actually like Moore and Cooks out of those 3 in PPR leagues today. I have them projected to score anywhere between 3 to 5 more points than Bateman. But Jeremy, let's start with you.
Yeah, well, Elijah Moore is the obvious one. I'm not going to not choose him. He's hot on fire. I think everybody, even if you don't have to be a Jets fan to see, his upside and that what he's been doing. And I would say, for the reasons I was talking about before, I would take Cooks over Bateman. I wouldn't be super confident or thrilled about it by any means. It's not like I'm excited to have Cooks in, but I think that he might surprise and have a big game because of the matchup.
Yeah. Sean, how about you?
I love Elijah Moore. I picked him up in every league I'm in. I mean, I'm not going to start him right now just because of the people I have in my league in my roster spots, but he's worthy of having on my bench because I have a couple of buys next week, and I like Brandon Cooks more. Bateman, unless the only way I would start Bateman is if Marquise Brown's out, and to hold on to him and hoping that he's out tonight, it's hard to say because then you're could be in desperation for a guy at 8:30 tonight for a game. Mm-hmm. But I think that if Elijah Moore has the games that he's been doing and he's been going off, I think that you could get plenty of points out of him and Brandon Cooks, and you could average enough that it wouldn't matter with having Bateman. That's my opinion. I think Elijah Moore, he's finally found his stride in the NFL, and kind of like Jamar Chase, it took all preseason, and then Jamar Chase took off, and he's actually been declining the last 3-4 weeks. He hasn't had breakout games, and then Elijah Moore the last 3-4 games has been having breakout games. So maybe the tides have swung from one rookie wide receiver to the other rookie wide receiver.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see with the Jets with Zach Wilson coming back, how Moore and him connect. Moore kind of started breaking out without Zach Wilson, so it'll be interesting to see what happens there. But our next question is from Wizzy. My roster is usually Josh Allen, Keenan Allen, Tyreek Hill, Terry McLaurin, Najee Harris, Jonathan Taylor, George Kittle, and Cordero Patterson. Yeah, if that's the 4-team league, everybody's going to have a superstar team. So that's crazy.
I mean, that kind of looks like my reality dynasty leagues team. I mean, it's just a stacked. And that's a 10-man league.
Your team's not that good. Relax.
Oh, that's why I'm 11-0.
That's an all-star team. That's an all-star team I'm looking at right now.
Yep.
I mean, you're probably undefeated almost with a team like that because of the way Jonathan Taylor and Cordell Patterson have been going off. Tyreek Hill is always an upside. Najee Harris is averaging like a touchdown every other game. Josh Allen, he is always good, and Keenan Allen's been getting points a lot. The only person that hasn't been doing off as much is George Kittle of late.
Yeah, I agree with you. Let's go back and look at some of the other games today. We got Philadelphia facing the Giants, Pittsburgh against Cincinnati, division matchup there. I know Hayden's out for the Steelers, so it could be a big day for the Cincinnati wide receivers. Sean, any takes on that game?
The Cincinnati-Cleveland game, or Cincinnati-Pittsburgh game, it actually was I believe it was the 8 o'clock game, and they flexed it to 1 o'clock today for the Sunday Night Football game tonight. But Pittsburgh's defense isn't what it was in the beginning of the year. In the beginning of the year, they were a little more relying on their defense more than their offense, and lately they've been relying more on their offense than their defense, and I just don't think Ben Roethlisberger has it in him to go out there and throw 350-yard games anymore and 40 pass attempts. So they need to get Najee Harris going again, get him to have those 100-yard games and get some tackles broken and get the running game going. If they can't get the running game going, it's hard to say they're going to be able to beat the Cincinnati Bengals defense without having Juju, because they're going to be locked down on Deontay Johnson more, I think, in this game. And they're going to rely on letting Chase Claypool beat them. And I'm not sure if Chase Claypool is going to be the one that can beat the Cincinnati Bengals defense.
Yeah. Jeremy, any takes on Pittsburgh and Cincinnati?
Yeah, I mean, look, Ben is at the point of his career where this is the time of year you have to really worry about him. He's he's almost done. And I think that I never totally rule Pittsburgh out of anything. Sometimes their defense will step up, but Najee Harris would have to have a tremendous game. And Pittsburgh's defense is usually you should never underestimate them, but too many injuries, like they're not at 100%. So, I like Cincinnati in that game. And I'm not thrilled if I'm going up against Pittsburgh's defense ever, just because of the history of the team, and they always seem to find ways. But no, I agree that Pittsburgh's in a dangerous place right now, that they could really fall off.
Yeah, and Cincinnati, looking back, Cincinnati did win the Week 3 matchup 24-10. I actually expect another kind of score like that. Could be 17-10 late, and either one of the teams can score a late touchdown to pull away at the end. Sorry, Sean, you were going to say something?
Yeah, they actually have beaten them the last 2 times. They beat them in the last matchup of last year, and I think they almost beat them in the first matchup. I think last year's matchup was, remember, the Juju danced on the logo of the Bengals, and they made it the game they went out to go after him and got him injured in the game.
How do you remember stuff like that?
Because
he likes football.
Hey, you got to study football. And on another note, the last time the Bengals actually won 3 straight against the Steelers, you want to guess what year it could have been, John?
1986.
Close. How about 1990?
Wow.
No.
It was 1988 to 1990. They beat them 3 straight times. They weren't in the same division at the time.
Oh, how about that? You sure about that?
Positive.
After the stream, I'm looking that up.
Wasn't that around the time, the Bengals were really good back then? Wasn't that around the time that we took Bruce Coslet from them? He was their offensive coordinator.
Here, turn back the clock to 1990. You will find the last time the Cincinnati Bengals beat the Steelers in 3 straight games. It was, in fact, they beat them 6 straight times.
Wow.
Yeah, that's probably the reason why the Jets took their offensive coordinator, Bruce Coslet.
Yeah. Yep. All right. Yeah. We got Tampa Bay going to Indianapolis. Indianapolis is playing really well right now. Went into Buffalo and absolutely destroyed them. Guys, what do you think of this matchup here?
Indy wins.
Indy wins at home.
Indy wins at home, and Jonathan Taylor goes off against the Bucs defense. I think it's 5. I said last week would have been 5 straight weeks he would have had, and I think if he does it this week, it'd be 6 straight weeks with a touchdown rush, or even any touchdown. And last week he had 5 alone for 5 in a row, so why not add it and make it 6 games in a row with a touchdown?
I think we ended the stream last week, and I don't know, like 2 minutes into their game, he already had a touchdown. I'm texting you. I'm like, "Yep, one of Sean's predictions already came true."
Yeah, and we talked about it last week, and I was like, I asked you off stream, and I said, give me some guys that you think score a touchdown, and I was like, here's my guys. I actually had 4 of the 5 guys. The only person that did not score a touchdown last week for me was Dalvin Cook in the Vikings game. I had Najee Harris, Austin Eckler, Nick Chubb, and Jonathan Taylor and Dalvin Cook. And then I had another one with Cam Newton and Jalen Hurts with Jonathan Taylor, and that one won me. And I was like, I can't complain.
We got Wizzy saying, any of y'all annoyed with picks you made? I picked Hawkinson in the 3rd round and Robbie Anderson in the 4th. Yeah, I'd have to say most of my fantasy team I was annoyed with. That's why I started off the year 2-6. I've now made some trades. I'm now 5-6. So yeah, my whole draft wasn't good. Sean, you're in more leagues than I am. Any annoying picks you actually made?
Hawkinson was one of them. I actually dropped him in my 1 league that I'm in after like the 3rd or 4th week because I expected him to have greatness. Robbie Anderson, I actually talked to you, John, this week about possibly even dropping him in the 1 league I'm in. And those are probably the only 2 people that I really had bad years. Kyle Pitts, I mean, he is a rookie, so I can't really say much. I expected more from him now. He's been having a rough couple of weeks. He had 2 great games, and then other than that, this year it's kind of been not consistent enough for him this year, which I thought he would have been better.
A lot of Jet fans would have warned anyone not to take Robbie Anderson before the year started when they knew Darnold was going to be the quarterback. Do you know that I looked into this, and right now, there are 5 New York Jets with more receiving yards than Robbie Anderson.
Wow.
I mean, and that's what
there's 5 wide receivers on the Jets right now that have more yards than Robbie Anderson.
No, not wide receivers.
Oh,
not all wide receivers, because one of them is Michael Carter. But yeah, Robbie Anderson has like 200 something yards, and there are 5 Jets with more yards than he has. Keelan Cole has more yards than he has, and I consider Keelan Cole an invisible player.
Yeah,
it's like
right.
I don't even notice him in the Jet games, but he has more yards than Robbie Anderson.
Robbie Anderson. He had a breakout year last year, and everyone's like, I mean, they were so high on him last year and how great he was going to be this year. And maybe with Cam Newton back, maybe he comes up. I mean, he scored his first touchdown since in the first week back with Cam, then from week 1. So he went 9 weeks without one. So, I mean, maybe he can find some upside with having Cam Newton back, but I don't know. It's hard to say because there's so many people down there in Carolina that they can throw the ball to that Robbie Anderson kind of just floats by invisible. And I think they gave him a big contract even too.
Yeah, they did give him an extension. He said, was he also asked thoughts on Damien Harris? I was just checking my lineup. I did see that he's questionable. I'll have to look into that.
He was deemed active.
Oh, he is active?
Yeah, last I saw, he was active, and so was Stevenson, their backup. They're the third string, Brandon Bolton, they said would split snaps between all of them. But their fourth string running back, they actually listed as inactive for today, J.J. Taylor. Yeah, he was listed as healthy as of 11:45.
Okay, because I did look. I was checking my lineup and I saw he was questionable. I'm like, oh, I don't know who I would put in as my flex, but let's see. He says, yeah, I'm benching him and starting Gibson and Miles Sanders.
I don't know about starting Miles Sanders yet. One breakout game. He had more yards last week in that game, I think, than he had the rest of his season. It's hard to trust any running back on the Eagles right now because they changed the momentum or changed the hands of who touches the ball so many times in this. I would probably go with Gibson and Harris if it was my fantasy team, just for the fact that you have a better upside of Harris getting a rushing touchdown over Sanders.
Yeah, and actually those are my two. Gibson and Harris are my two of my running backs, so I'm going with them as well. Jeremy, what do you think of that Gibson and Sanders over Damien Harris this week?
I guess if you have no choice, I mean, obviously those are, injuries, bye weeks, those, I'm not jumping up and down, but yeah, I mean, I think it's an okay move. I mean, it's what you got to do, what you got to do. Yeah.
So let's see. He also says, you guys from the U.S.? Yes, we are. I'm from Canada, and I'm going to a CFL playoff game tonight. Let's go Saskatchewan. Sean, do you know anything, or Jeremy, do you guys know anything about the CFL? I do not.
I like the.
Oh, Jeremy's freezing
I
up
know
over
that
there.
Warren Moon played there.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And Kurt Warner.
Oh. Yeah, I don't know. I know.
Yeah,
honestly, the only thing I know about the Canadian Football League is that the XFL was trying to do a partnership program with them, and I don't know what's happening there. But as terms of spring football, not to get off of today's games, but spring football, the United States Football League comes back in the spring of 2022. I texted that to Sean the other day. I know there's only 8 teams. I haven't seen what the 8 teams are. I know the New Jersey Generals are one of the teams. They said something about all the teams are playing in one location. They haven't announced where that is, so I don't know how that's going to work out. But what do you guys think of a spring league? The XFL was actually catching on before COVID hit, and unfortunately got shut down because of that. But Do you think that's something the NFL should actually look into partnering with, or just keep things as they are?
I think it would be a great idea. I think the XFL to give college players that don't want to stay in college and didn't get drafted, they have a chance to play there, sort of thing. If they don't get signed to a practice squad, sort of thing. Like if they go in their junior year and they drop out of college, they can at least sign on somewhere. I just think that it would give them a good chance to maybe show teams that they have upside. I know PJ Walker was the quarterback on one of the teams, and he's the backup now on Carolina. And I think there was a couple other players that just got signed after the XFL had ended, that got signed either to a practice squad or an invitation for the opening for roster spots.
Jeremy, how about you? What do you think of a spring league and maybe the NFL doing something as well?
Yeah, I mean, it's all about having the money, because it takes time, right? You gotta, like, that league has to establish its good players, its good teams, and it takes time. So you have to have the money to survive it. It's like opening up a restaurant. They say you have to be prepared to, like, stay open for 2 years without making money. I would love it because, especially now, I'm more into football than I've ever been. And I think there's a lot of guys that don't make rosters. You know, you watch shows like Hard Knocks and people into their own team, guys that just don't make the cut. They, you know, and like a tight end like Eubanks, who Dallas picked up and then cut. If he's not on a practice squad, or if he's on the practice squad, never gets to play, maybe they have some kind of thing where he could play in that league. There are players we get really excited about that don't make the team. They barely miss the cut. It'd be fun to see a league where you get to see them, and then you get to be wrong or right. So, like, if you were a guy who loved Eubanks as a tight end, and then all of a sudden he was playing in this spring league and he was a superstar and got picked up by an NFL team, you could say, I was right. I knew that kid was good in college, you know? So there could be some for me, there would be enjoyment in that, because now that I'm that into it, there's a lot of players that I'm very disappointed that we never really got to see them. Like if Kenny Yeboah never gets a starting spot for the Jets and ends up cut next year, I want to see him in a spring league and to see if he could prove me right and be a star and then eventually get picked up again.
Yeah. Speaking of like practice squads and all that, I think the NFL should do something where it's like they could have like two teams could have scrimmages between their practice squads. I mean, I'm not saying have 4-quarter games like they would preseason, but even have like, you know, couple like have like two quarters or something like throughout the year. So teams that are on players that are on the practice squad for teams, they could like go and play and be ready for game time stuff, like to get thrown into the games. Like sometimes players get activated right before and they're like, well, they're not going to get used much besides special teams or injuries. So it's like have them that they're more ready than just getting practice on Monday through Thursday. And if they get activated for Friday or Saturday.
Wizzy chimes in. All right, boys. Well, it's time for me to go and watch some Red Zone. I subbed and hit the bell. I will be here next Sunday. Wizzy, thank you very much for that. Yeah, we're here on we're actually here Thursday nights at 7 p.m. Eastern time, Sundays at noon. So yeah, thanks for the sub and thanks for hitting that notification bell. We do have another question here. Jerry Judy or Elijah Moore?
Elijah Moore.
Yeah, I do have Moore projected at 13.3 and Jerry Judy at 12.4. Jeremy, Moore today over Judy?
Oh, come on. Of course. Yeah. If you saw my video, I have a promo video that I made with Green Bean. It's a 20-second video of Elijah Moore's touchdown last week. You'd know there's no way I'm not starting Elijah unless you have a really amazing deep team. But I'm a little bit high on the kid. I have his jersey. He's one of the players I'm the most excited about as a Jets fan. So, you know, it's hard for you. It's going to be hard to put me in a situation where I'm not going to say Elijah Moore has to start.
And it's weird to see. I know during the draft, the NFL shows the war rooms and stuff, and you see guys' reactions. And the Jets were totally pumped up in that office when they were able to take Moore, and to actually see him panning out in his rookie year, it's great to see. So
yeah, he's doing veteran things. Like it's not just he's starting to make some catches. If you watch his touchdown and you watch some of the plays he's making, he does like the things where he sticks the ball out at the very end before going out of bounds to get the most yards. In the end, the way he did that touchdown where he reached the ball out to make sure he got it over the line. Like, he's very aware. You could see the football IQ. So it's super exciting. If you watch his highlights and you'll see what I'm talking about. But a lot of times you don't see rookies doing those kind of things. He's doing veteran type of moves already.
Yeah, agreed. How about Dirtbag asks, how about David Johnson versus the Jets today?
I don't trust any Texans running back.
Yeah, I don't like that matchup either. I do have him. He's projected to score 10 points today, about 34, 35 yards. Rushing, 3 catches for another 25 yards. I'm not expecting a big day there. Jeremy, how about you?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's the Jets defense is it's tempting because you say, like, you could look how bad they've been, but at the same time when they play, like, playing against a team like Houston, I think this is going to be like a prove-it game for the defense. Like, I think this is where the defensive line for the Jets does step up. And that's the problem for us right now, is that we can't do it against elite talent. But I think that, we'll do it against a team like Houston, and you'll see the defensive line making plays. And, we had a 7-sack game once, against a weaker offensive line. So I think this is just going to be one of those kind of games for the Jets defense where they will step up. Our problem as fans is just when they play against a team like Indianapolis and they're playing against elite guys, we're invisible. But I wouldn't expect it this week, so I wouldn't feel too good about David Johnson.
Sean, how about you?
I don't trust any Texans running back. I mean, I just don't. They just released Philip Lindsay this week, who they thought was going to be the answer, and now you're going to ask a guy that you traded DeAndre Hopkins for and hasn't turned out to be anything in his career since he got his first injury, really.
Cassius Stylist, thanks. Cam or Tyrod Taylor today? Sean, let's start with you.
Cam Newton. Tyrod Taylor, I mean, only way Tyrod Taylor, I think, scores points is by rushing and getting rushing touchdowns. I don't see him throwing for many points because when he has thrown, he's been inconsistent. So I think Cam Newton, you got a better upside of getting rushing touchdowns and the rushing yards. I think he's going to have more fantasy points than Tyrod will today.
Yeah, Jeremy, any takes on that? Oh, I'm not sure if we lost Jeremy or not. That's all right. Rashad Bateman or Robbie Anderson, full PPR.
Yeah.
Sorry. Rashad Bateman or Robbie Anderson. We went over this before. Actually, you never trust Robbie Anderson. I wouldn't play him. Well, he's only gonna, even if he does get a touchdown, and he's only gonna get 1 or 2 catches per game, especially now that Cam's back. So definitely get Bateman going there. Sean, agreed? Disagree?
Yeah, Bateman.
Jeremy, how about you?
Bateman.
All right. Do I play Aaron Jones over Ty Johnson in hopes that he plays? I would have to start DJ Dallas if Jones is inactive.
Start Ty Johnson.
No, Jeremy, you're shaking your head.
Definitely Ty Johnson. Michael Carter's hurt.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I wouldn't trust them starting Aaron Jones. I think they're gonna lead it. The Packers are gonna play mind games with the Rams today. They're gonna wait until the very last second to say if he's active or inactive. They might even wait up until the very last second, like right before the game, and say that he just isn't playing. So that therefore they're playing. The Rams are thinking like, oh, we're playing for Aaron Jones today, and then they bring out A.J. Dillon. Even if Aaron Jones is playing, I don't think they'll give him many snaps. It might just be a couple of drives here or there. He gets a play or two. I don't think they're going to risk him getting injured to his MCL. They got bigger goals there in Green Bay, and that's to bring a Super Bowl back home. And I don't think they're going to risk it when having the bye next week.
Yeah, give him that extra week. Not only not play him this week, but give him that extra week of rest. So
yeah,
Guys, make sure you get your fantasy lineups in. We're getting close to that kickoff time. Sean, we didn't get to go through all the games, but let me bring them back up on the screen here. Any other games you're looking forward to besides your Vikings at 4:00?
I think the game that could decide the AFC West is the Broncos and Chargers. If the Chargers lose that game and the Chiefs being on their bye, I think they gain their half game. It'll be a 2-game lead in that division with tiebreakers. So I think that the Chargers have a must win, and I know that the Broncos play them hard, and they're playing in Denver. So Justin Herbert's got to try to get the offense going again like he did last week against Pittsburgh and keep playing that the high stake that he is. And I think if he can do that, I think then he'll be destined to have a good game today, and they should come away with a win.
Jeremy, we have our Jets on at 1:00, but are there any other games that you're looking forward to today?
Definitely Tampa Colts, I think, is an interesting game. Excited about that one. Green Bay Rams, obviously, great game. I think I love football, so I'm excited about all kinds of matchups for all kinds of reasons. And, the Niners seem to be playing a lot better. So I think that, a Vikings-Niners game is going to be a great game, like a fun game. So,
I'm excited.
I'm excited on my new channel just to put some comments. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, I didn't catch that. What was that, Jeremy?
Oh. No, I said go ahead. I was to Sean.
I'm just excited for the Vikings for the fact that they always have that big game, and last week being a big game, they played Green Bay well. How do they bounce back? How do the emotions play going against the 49ers who just beat the Rams? You got two teams that are coming off big wins last week, so you got to have that bounce back game. So I'm excited to see how the emotions flow, because usually if you have a big game and you have a big victory, that the emotions start to dwindle down and you have a really bad game. So I want to see how Kirk Cousins play coming into this game and how he prepares.
Yeah. All right, guys, make sure you get your fantasy lineups in. Kickoff's just a couple minutes away. I want to thank Jeremy for joining us this week. Jeremy, thanks again. Good luck with your new channel. Go ahead and give that a shout out as well again.
Okay, it's coming, but in the future, you'll see me on NFL Chaos with Jeremy, and there'll be all things NFL. And again, I'll have a lot of guests, a lot of people. The two of you will get invitations as well. So there'll be a lot of different personalities, people from different sports teams. And I'm hoping to make something that will be valuable and entertaining and give a lot of insight.
Good. Good luck with that. I do have that link down in the description. Even though you said there's no content there yet, people can go and sub, hit that notification bell for him, so as soon as he posts something, you'll be aware of it. And Sean, any predictions for today's games?
Yeah, I think in the Colts and I think the Colts running back Jonathan Taylor, I think he outrushes all of the Buccaneers running backs today. And I think that also is the upset of the game of the day. I think the Colts come away with a win today. I think that they're just playing high and they're going to have the home crowd into it. I also think that you're going to see a lot of interesting games today, but I think that the Patriots continue their winning ways against the Titans. And I think with a win today, I believe they would take the 1 seed over in the whole AFC.
Yep.
So I think they go into their bye week with the 1 seed, unfortunately. Or no, they actually don't have their bye week yet next week. It's the following week. But I think the Patriots win, and I think they go into next Monday night's game against the Bills, where they play for the AFC East, I think. I think that'll be the deciding game. Who wins that division?
Well, I don't think they've played yet, so they have to play each other twice yet this year.
Do they?
Yeah. Yep. I don't think they've played yet. I could be wrong, but
because I think they have the last bye week in this season. I think them and I forget who else. I think it's week 14 or something.
So, guys, thanks again for watching. Thanks for all the questions. Thanks for those that subbed. Once again, we do live stream every Thursday at 7 to talk about the Thursday night game and any questions you guys might have for that week. And Sundays at noon. So thanks for joining us. And we'll see you on Thursday night. Good luck to your fantasy teams.
See you Thursday, guys.
Take care.